Aslam, esteemed colleagues and my dear students. Is almost everything has been spoken about freedom struggle. The last one, Tryst with Destiny, was kind of a glimpse of Nehru, presented by Aslam Sahab. That was wonderful. I would rather, talk about the role of women in freedom struggle from, the vantage point of, say, writings of history, or rather historical writings. One of the things that what subaltern studies has brought in the social sciences is that it has revolutionized the history writing. It talks about that history was not from above, but history from below, right? And it also highlights that how history was written exclusively by the, if you talk about in terms of dominant caste, or those who were victorious, right? So history is not only the history of the mainstream, but history is also something which is of marginalized. And women were the most marginalized category. Indian historical writings are mostly monochromatic, and it has been very patriarchal. So most of the women who participated in freedom struggle that we know, we trace the lineage that they come from either royalty or they come from upper caste. So but nevertheless their contributions were immense. I would rather put this entire contribution of women in freedom struggle in three stages, or rather categorized in three groupings. That is, some of the women were involved in militant and revolutionary tendencies. Then comes the arrival of, say, Gandhi, who brings the idea of passive struggle, bringing the notion of how domesticity is equally important, and how women can contribute from their domestic household in the four walls, which Gandhi embarked upon the idea of democracy as well. And the last category is the contribution of women who were not, say, Indian. Right? It was rather the collaboration with the international, connections. So international-based orientations, which we find traced from, say, Amy Besant and Sarla Bain and others, right? So if we go by one of the very famous character, Rani Jhansi, Rani of Jhansi, and this poem we have been sort of hearing from our childhood days, right? बुंदले और बोलो की हमने सुनी कहानी थी, खूब लड़ी मर्दानी. She was like, खूब लड़ी मर्दानी, वो तो झांसी की रानी थी. In that same poem, there is this connections where this poem is kind of encapsulating the entire kind of freedom struggle, where it eulogizes and glorifies the fervor and kind of bravery of Jhansi Ki Rani, but it also, it also incorporates many other characters. So in one of the lines, it talks about Rani Roi Rinwaso mein Begum Gam se thi bezar. Begum referring to Begum Hasrat Mahal, who in 1857 she was she was regent for 10 months, and Bijlis Khadir, her son, after the deporting of Wajid Ali Shah, she took over the battle into her own hands, and for almost 10 months Britishers were put into the residency, right? And that is famously known as Lucknow Siege. Professor Iftikhar Sahab was pointing out some names. 255 women were hanged in the 1857 freedom struggle, and majority of them were belonging from Muslim community. Right? This point talks about in this same poem. उनके गहने कपड़े बिकते थे कलकत्ते के बाजार, रानीज एंड बेगम सरेआम नीलाम छापते थे अंग्रेजों के अखबार, नागपुर के जेवर ले लो लखनऊ के दो नौलख हार, जो पर्दे की इज्जत परदेसी के हाथ बिगानी थी, बुंदने हम बोलो कि हमने सुनी कहानी थी, खूब लड़ी मर्दानी, वो तो झांसी वाली रानी थी. Again, what I'm trying to emphasize here is that even in the poetic writings or even in glorifying these female characters, it has been very exclusive. It do not talk about, say, the Begum Hasrat Mahal's own warrior called Uda Devi. Right? So Uda Devi comes from Dalit community. And Uda Devi, in the last battle when Begum Hasrat Mahal went to Kathmandu, she ran away. Uda Devi lost her life in the battle, where she shot almost 30 British soldiers, and she was, known as the sniper. And she comes from Dalit. So now Patri Narayan and many more people have actually brought these into the title of Dalit Viranganas, right? And these Dalit Viranganas like Jhankari Mai or Uda Devi, they were equally part of this, but they never became the part of the mainstream history, right? Similarly, if we see many more women, like from south of India, we have never ever heard about women sort of freedom fighters like Kittur Chennamma, who was equally important, and she was the queen of Kittur, his state in Karnataka. She led an armed resistance. She comes into the category of revolutionary women. Rani Abakka Chowta, similarly from Queen of Kullan, who participated in the freedom struggle against the Portuguese domination. Rani Velu Nachiyar had connections with Hyder Ali, right? And Rani Velu Nachiyar, she was the queen of Shivagangai, and Portuguese had actually dominated they pushed away Rani Velu Nachiyar. She went into the Pondicherry area, and she sought help from Hyder Ali, and Hyder Ali gave 50 gold coins and plus 5,000 cavalry, and through the help, Rani Velu Nachiyar actually conquered her own fort in Shivagangai. Coeli, another first suicide bomber, Coeli, who was actually the commander of Rani Velu Nachiyar, she blown herself by killing almost a dozen of soldiers, Portuguese soldiers. Begum Aslam Mahal, we have been reading, and she has been part of the mainstream history. Similarly, Rani of Jhansi. Captain Lakshmi Sahgal, again, if you want to categorize her contributions, she was part of the Azad Hind cause, and she was lieutenant of Netaji Subhash Bose. So, coming to the Gandhi's idea, which I said, and I'll be very brief for 2-3 minutes. Gandhi's views, on the women's role in independence were complex and rooted in the notion that she embodied. And Gandhi brings the mythical kind of story from Ramayana and Mahabharata, combining Sita and Draupadi together by saying that instead of emulating Rani of Jhansi, Gandhi himself is right, instead of emulating, because Gandhi, coming from this idea, John Ruskin and others, by bringing this idea of non-violence and satyagraha, Gandhi says that, violence is not the means, right? And Rani symbolizes basically violence, right? So Gandhi is bringing the mythical characters to say that within the household you can nurture, your men who can actually fight at the front, but not really you yourself actually going into the front. So Gandhi is bringing Sita and Draupadi as a mythological heroines of Hinduism, representing Gandhi's perception of the ideal Indian woman. Gandhi is saying this colonialism is nothing but a Ravan Raj. So it's a Ravan Raj, and how Sita basically kept herself intact by preserving her modesty. All women should be like Sita, right? But if we see Sarojini Naidu for an example, Sarojini Naidu being part of the Gandhian cocoon, she herself rebelled also in some instances where Gandhi was trying to dominate, and Sarojini Naidu kind of going against his idea. So so if we see that Gandhi is limiting rather the role of Partha Chatterjee writes in Lesson and its Fragments. One chapter, the 6th chapter, is the women and its fragments. Partha Chatterjee actually talks about this, that why by the end of the century, how it was a reformist movement where women were subjugated and women were kind of forced to self-immolate, right? So Brahma Samaj and other contributions where women question was a very important question. Women question was a very important question in say 19th century, but women question was never even taken up as the priority or as the first question in the say aftermath of establishment of Indian National Congress. It was rather more programmatic nationalism or political nationalism, but what Partha Chatterjee says, and it actually in the post-independent India, it reflected into the yet another kind of onslaught on the women when they were not actually taken into the taken as someone as a respected citizen, and rather part of the larger minority is a powerless category. Lastly, the internationalist orientation, it was equally important. Like any recent, we know the Irish lady who led the Home Rule League in Madras, Madame Rika Ji, who, when we trace the history of national flag, we go back to how Rika Ji was part of the preparing of the national flag, this tri-color where Vande Mataram was inscribed in the middle. Gita ji was equally important. Sister Nivedita, she was disciple of Swami Vivekananda. Then if you talk about, say, Maulana Muhammad Ali Jauhar's and Shaukat Ali's mother, right? She was equally part of the parvez and how she led the Khilafat, and then lastly, Bibi Amatus Salam, right? Who during when everyone was celebrating India's independence, she was with Mahatma Gandhi in Nova Khali, kind of consoling the people who had lost their lives. So, and many more. Mrityu Vahini, for an example, the death squad during the Quit India movement, when all the leaders were, behind the prison, women were actually leading the Quit India movement by, taking out Prabhat Feri procession, as well as they were installing flags on the police station. That was the kind of very epochal moment in the Quit India movement, where Kanak Lata Barua, for an example, in the Gopur, she was shot dead. Similarly, she was part of the Mrityu Vahini, death squad. So many death squad, many Vahinis were kind of, created by women to basically create that fervor, and it should not sort of, this entire movement should not extinguish, right? When our leaders come back, they should rather take up and then proceed further for freedom of India. Thank you so much.